All right, so welcome back from the break. You're still watching The Morning Rush here on Metro Television with me, Desifading the Star, and of course, Nanaya Tanobwache. I mentioned earlier that we're going to have a conversation about a field that I guess not so many people have been looking at it, but I'm privileged and I'm excited this morning to talk about it. We're talking to our guests we're going to be talking about quantity surveying. That is it in the first place. So we've got three guests. Let me quickly get to introduce them, and then we can get into our conversation. So Dr. Na Ajele Ashiboye Mensah Domikpo is the chair of the Continuous Professional Development at the Quantity Surveyors Department, I guess, right? Division. Yes. Okay, no department, division. You're welcome to the show. And also, the gentleman also here is Surveyor Arnold Ode. He is also here with us. And also Surveyor Sally Esipobi Tete is also here. She's the chair of the Public Affairs Commission of the Quantity Surveyors Division. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, but now it's Black Stars. Black Stars are here. I'm not sure they'll be watching the game, right?
No, not at all.
I didn't watch the game,
but you were following the update.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the update at 3 a.m.
Anyway, we'll talk about Black Stars later, but let's get into this space. When I realized that we're going to be talking about this, I was quite excited about it because I haven't really, gotten to know about your work. Maybe I just know the name. So let me start with you, Dr. Na. Quantity surveying. Generally, give us an overview of what is done at that division.
Okay, so let me start with the institution.
Okay.
So we're all from the Ghana Institution of Surveyors.
Okay.
And it's the oldest institution, professional institution in Ghana,
okay,
that is associated with surveyors, right? We have about 3 divisions in there, and we are just one division. That's the quantity surveying division.
Okay.
We also have the valuation and estates surveying division, and then we have the lands surveying division. So that's the institution. So when you talk about the quantity surveying division, then it relates to what we are going to talk about, which is the quantity surveying. So that, in essence, is the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, and specifically the quantity surveying division.
Great. To what specifically you do, what do you do? What are your roles?
So traditionally, like when you talk, most people who are familiar with quantity surveyors, when you talk about us, immediately they think of cost. They think of almost like the accountants of the construction industry. That is, and it's fair to think of us like that because that is our traditional role. That's how we started off in history. But we are quite diverse in the skills and competencies we bring on board. And I'm sure Sally and Arnold will talk about some of the things they do and what they do specifically. But primarily, most people think of us as the accountants or people associated with the costs when it comes to projects, particularly construction projects.
Okay. So, Sally, anything you want to add?
Yes. The quantity surveyors, as Na just mentioned, is not just the traditional person of accounting in the built environment, but also the initial planning stage of any infrastructure development, set out to get the estimates, cost estimates, the planning, the procurement of the works and all that into the built environment and any infrastructure development.
I know, and I'm sure your role is very important, so much that when people bypass quantity surveyors in the quest to put up a building, then there's a problem, right? Yeah.
So it's even biblical that before
Arnold, if you could speak into the
mic. It's even biblical that before you put up a structure, you need to count your cost so that they will not say that you aren't able to finish your building. So before you put up the building, you need to know the cost. Before you even set up your studio and all that, you need to know how much it's going to cost you for the lighting, the camera, and even where it's going to be situated, who is going to install it, what insurances do you have on them, for how long. It's not just about knowing the cost, it's even about the running of your facility, and even the end, when you want to even rent it out and all that. So it's a whole lot. It's not just knowing the cost just at the beginning, but even trying to manage that cost throughout the developing stage. So there's a lot to it. Like Sally mentioned, the procurement aspect, you actually need to vet what you're going to do. Actually value for money, you need to do all that. And then when even the project is up and sometimes there are contention, you sometimes need a quantity surveyor to actually vet to know what is what the cost that is being thrown at you. Is it fair? If it's not fair, what was missing? What can we add? You know, so it's a whole lot that comes to it.
If someone does not come to quantity surveyors to ask about all of these things for their building before they put up any structure, what are they missing out?
So let me put it this way.
Okay.
Because our traditional role has been to look at the cost implications of going into any project. It means that we have to understand the space.
Okay.
So we have a very good overview of the space, what it takes to construct it, what it takes to manage it, and even looking at it from the contractual point of view. So mind you, if you're going to put up a project, there are normally parties involved, the client and whoever is going to handle the project. Okay. And often they would exchange what the lawyers will call consideration. You know, I will build this for you if you give me this amount of money.
Okay.
So that consideration, which is a very important thing, which is often monetary, is what we are catering to.
Okay.
So we understand the implications when it comes to the terms and conditions surrounding the entire thing, right? So if you bypass us, you don't have somebody who has a fair overview of whatever is involved in the project. And we often, how do we integrate ourselves with the different professions? We understand what they are bringing to the table. We know how to communicate with them on what they are doing. And mind you, our training is such that I just talked about law, right? I talked about the legal aspect of it. She talked about procurement. We understand the procurement bit of it. We understand the construction of it. So we know the language of the space. We know who to talk to. We know what are the issues. So when you bypass us, you're putting yourself at a disservice. You are disadvantaging yourself. Okay. The only challenge is that often we are not in the forefront, but we should be in the forefront, engaging and bringing people together. He also talked about being arbiters. Because we understand the space, we're able to talk to the issues when there's a conflict, when there's a problem. So we make good legal representation. So we have some of our people who are lawyers. We also have some of our people who may not be lawyers, but act as adjudicators, arbiters, when there's problem in the space. So we have a lot to put on the table, but most people don't really come to us and talk to us and know what we can bring to the fore.
That's interesting to note. And as you say, lots of people would not come and ask, oh, I'm putting up this building, what's or what, because they may say cost, what do you want? Or they'll just, they'll just do something and they're going to, at the end of the day, they find themselves wanting. If someone is doing that, putting up a structure and all that, what are the processes to engage you for your services? Sally.
Okay. So you just need to identify a quantity surveyor.
Okay.
And a good one as such,
okay.
A practicing one. And I would say that somebody from the institution or a member of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Okay. Then you would talk about what you want to do. They'll take the brief of everything you'd want to do, how you'd want to go about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a building. We do just everything. We have some of our people in the oil and gas space, and everywhere that you would have to get the cost of the project before you set out to do. So you engage, and then you get your brief. Then that person will be able to cost out whatever you need to do and get some estimates for you. Yeah.
Okay. So this morning we are learning about quantity surveying. So if you're watching us and you've got to go for their services, please go. If you bypass them, you are in a lot of trouble there. We're getting to another phase of the conversation where they're going to have a very huge seminar, and I want to touch on that. Okay, so Sally, let's talk about the seminar. What's the idea behind this?
Okay. The Quantity Surveying Annual Seminar, we have it yearly.
Okay, yearly.
And it's a continuous professional development, which is a requirement for every member of the institution.
Okay.
Yes, so every year we pull everybody together and discuss pertinent issues, you know, on in relation to the profession as well as the nation Ghana in which we work as well. So that's the essence of it. I'm sure Dr. Na would give the perspective of the seminar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Docs, right to you.
Yeah, so she said it. So it's a requirement for all our professional members. However, it's actually open to the public because often we take topical issues related to our practice, but is also relevant for the public. Okay. Last year, for example, we looked at the issue of sustainability, but this year we're looking at infrastructure projects and the payment regime surrounding it. Okay. So why are we looking at infrastructure projects and the payment regime surrounding it? As I said, when it comes to money, it's important. It's the consideration, so it's a big issue. When it comes to infrastructure development is important for us, even at the level of the world. When we're looking at our SDGs, etc., we're looking at improving the quality of life of people, then we're talking about infrastructure, right? And there are lots of issues surrounding payments, not just delay payments, but also even how to structure the payment regime. When, you know, how do we finance, from the perspective of the government, how do we finance our infrastructure in a way that is supportive of developing good infrastructure, etc. So because of that, we've seen that it's important, particularly in the current economic regime that we have, it's important to appreciate the payment regime related to infrastructure and talk about the issues surrounding it so that we proffer solutions that are good for developing our infrastructure.
Okay, that's a great one. So when is it happening?
So we have it on the 26th, 27th, and then we have a tour on the 27th of October, 28th of October.
So that's next week?
That's next week.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, where's the event happening?
So this year we are going to Koforidua.
Oh, okay.
We are going to Koforidua and we are excited.
Okay.
We are calling everybody to join us to Koforidua. Koforidua, you would ask why. We realize that most of our activities have been in Accra, and we would want to lift everybody into another region, expand our scope, and also make them feel that, yes, we are having a national conversation, but it is not just in Accra, but other people in other regions can benefit from this kind of presence and discussion. So that is where we are going. Koforidua,
exactly
we go.
Koforidua?
Eastern Premier Hotel is where we are going to be.
Okay. I know. For people who are watching, people in Koforidua who are watching and would want to be a part of this, what should be the mindsets as they walk into this seminar? Because I'm sure you want to impact on those who coming there for the seminar.
Yeah. So this seminar is one that they all have to get involved because we are all going to learn. We all want to move the quantity surveying profession from one step to another. We want to go a bit higher. As Na mentioned, we are talking about payment regime. We are talking about sustainability. We are even going to touch on how some of the things that we omit in contracts, we need to handle them. So we've marginally talked about the costing aspect of it, but quantity surveying also touches on how we place our contracts for infrastructure and all that. And some of these contracts are sometimes lead to losses and all. And we are coming together to learn. And it's important for every quantity surveyor out there to actually come out, join us in Koforidua between the 26th and 28th of October for us to actually share ideas and take up some new things that we need to put into the industry and make Ghana better and make the world better as a whole.
Okay, so you heard that. Please make it a point to be there in Koforidua from 26th, 27th, and also 28th October. That is next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Eastern Premier Hotel in Koforidua for this all-important seminar. As you heard Dr. Na talk about the theme, the reason why they're going for this seminar this year, you need to be there and be a part of it. So this is where we'll draw the curtains on our conversation this morning. It's been awesome. Now, I've learnt about it. It's been very educative this morning. And so when I put it on my building, I'm going to look for a
and you know who to come to.
And I'll know who to go to, right? Thank you very much.
Thank
we heard
you.
from Dr. Na Ajele Ashibwe Mensah Duamekpo, who is the chair of the Continuous Professional Development at QSD. That is a Quantity Surveyors Division. Yeah, and also you heard from Seria Sali Esi Pobi Tete, who's the chair of the Public Affairs Commission at the division also, and also you heard from Surveyor Arnold O'Day. So that's it for this bit.